Right, hello, it's Lee Fraser from Tin Top Racing News and Views, and I'm joined this time with Jamie Bond. How you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm good. Getting there, slowly but surely. But yeah, good. Yourself?
All good here, all good this end, thank you.
Good.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a last minute dash to get you racing again this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, we like it late. It's better than never, I suppose. So yeah, quick turnaround. Got the car ready. Got it out of Donington, and overall went well on paper. Not so much results wise, but on paper everything's there. The recipe to go forward for the rest of the year is in the making. So yeah, we've got to build on what happened at Donington and take it forward to Croft in a few weeks' time.
Excellent, yeah, that's true enough. That's all you can do, isn't it? Was there,
Exactly.
was there, how many times did you have that fear of not getting out this year, and how did it affect you?
Um, there was always. I mean, I've got great supporters in me with my sponsors of Rightshaw and Oakleaf and Fleet Livery and Team Hard Racing. So we was always going to be doing something, um, whether that be racing or testing or something. There was always going to be something there, but the worry was we wasn't going to be racing.
Yeah,
Every driver in the world can go and do lap after lap on a test day, and be at the back of the field in a race.
yeah,
Um, you can break lap records in the test day, but when it comes to a race, it's a whole different thing. So we didn't want to be doing that. So yeah, that was the biggest fear of ours, was not being competitive on a grid. But obviously, again, thanks to the sponsors and Team Hard that we was able to make that happen. Definitely.
excellent. Yeah, I know. I think someone described the race weekends as like honeymoons. Yeah, whereby it's all excellent, all buzz, high buzz, etc. And that lot. If you're just doing track days and just pounding around a track, that you wouldn't really have got that high there, would you?
No, I mean every driver will agree with me. It's anyone can drive fast in one lap. Anyone can put one lap together, but a race over sort of a 14, 15 lap distance is where the fun and the adrenaline comes, and the enjoyment of racing and making moves and defending and pushing for wins and podiums and stuff. That's what we go there for.
Yeah,
If you're not there for that, I mean, you do get a buzz driving around on a track day and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the competitive side in you, especially if you've been racing and then you go to track days, I think that would possibly one of the worst things that could do. But obviously, starting off, I think every driver starts off, they have a go karting, and then they might get a track day car, and then they start beating bigger cars, and that's how it sort of evolves. But
that
if you was to go racing, and then to go back to sort of track days and stuff, it's not going to be the same. It won't be what we desire in a driver.
yeah. I'm like that competitiveness that you talk about there. That's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because yeah, you get the enormous highs out of it, especially when you're doing well, etc. And yeah, you're beating people. Yeah, but by the same token, does it also have a bit of a downside to it?
Oh, massively, massively. You wouldn't believe some of the downs that myself personally, and I could probably talk for every driver in every championship across the UK and the world. There's not one driver out there that's had a perfect career. It's just not possible. No one can have a perfect career. At the end of the day, even if you're a perfect driver, you're in a car. You've got an engine underneath you.
Yeah,
No one's got a perfect engine. No one's got a perfect car. Things go wrong. Things happen. And yeah, the downs come, and the downs come in a big way sometimes.
yeah, yeah. That that down period is obviously the bit that the fans don't see, etc. How, or they don't see it if they're just going along to the race meetings, etc., or following, on the TV. Um, how do you, as a person, deal with those downsides yourself?
Um, I think it depends who you are as a person, but myself personally, you just have to keep going. You may be smiling on the outside, doesn't mean that you have to smile on the inside at all.
Yeah.
But you know things will get better. There comes a time that something good will come eventually, whether that's weeks, months, years, whatever it might be. The lows won't always stay, and I think that's me personally is the only thing that keeps me going is knowing that yes, there's a low, yes, I'm struggling, but there's got to come a time when I'm going to be beyond cloud nine, and that's just the way you have to think.
Yeah, I think that just about sums it up perfectly on that one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is, there's always going to be some good in that bad situation as well, and you have to hang on to it. And yeah, just changing the subject slightly. Then I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan of tin tops. I'm a fan of racing. I'm a fan of yours. I'm not going to back away from it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
And we've had several chats about it, Nella. But does that put extra pressure on you? And do you feel that sort of pressure when you get in behind the wheel of a car, or is it a case of no, this is me now. This is down to me.
I think it all depends. Obviously, us drivers, some people may look at us as robots. We turn up on a weekend, all smiling, all happy. Drivers have normal lives. They go to work. Whether they work in the motorsport industry as well, they go to work. They have personal lives. They have family. They have friends. Things are different in everyone's life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You, again, not outside of motorsport, you've got problems. Businesses, work, friends, family, whatever it might be, there is problems. I suppose, for me, I had it last year at Rockingham. I lost my uncle last year, a week before Rockingham. And that was really hard, really, really hard. And practice was terrible. I just couldn't. My head was just all over the place. I was a mess.
Yeah.
I sat down with my dad, and I spoke to my mum on the phone. Massive inspirations of mine, and they said to me, "You've got to do what you got to do." And I came back the next day. I was 10 seconds off the pace in practice, and I came back the next day and I put it on pole. And I think from then on, that's why my mindset has been so different about there is always going to be a good, no matter what happens in your life. So I think when the visor comes down, yes, there's a lot of problems, but good can come of it, no matter how bad them problems are, like we go back to. Things can always change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's interesting that you mentioned that phrase about when the visor comes down. You really do have to count on that, don't you, so that you can then focus.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of people, fans of motorsport are the best fans in the world. And sometimes that's all you need. You see all different ages. You see toddlers up to 60, 70, 80, 90 years old loving motorsport. And I think that everyone probably going to listen to this podcast of yours, they're the ones that lift us drivers up. We may come into a weekend and really struggle. When people are coming over, talking to you, and you see the passion in every fan of all different series. I mean, they might be coming there for British touring cars, or they might be a Formula One fan, or whatever they are. But ultimately, they are just a pure petrol heads that love motorsport, and to see that, I think lifts me. I can't talk for every driver, but that to me, when I see the people having pure enjoyment out of motorsport, sometimes cancels some of the problems away that drivers may be facing. Again, which is why motorsport needs the public and the fans to engage as much as possible.
That's interesting to say that, and it's really good to hear a driver talking like that about the fans as well, that we actually help you guys as well as you help us by giving us the buzz.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we no driver wants to turn up to a circuit and not have people watching them race. We go there because we want to race, and obviously that's what we love, but we want to put on a good show. We want people to love the racing and enjoy it themselves. So we are people, and I have been a fan myself. I've only been racing, this is my third full season in motorsport, fourth year overall, but before that I was a massive petrol head and motorsport fan. So for me, I know exactly the same as Michael Crease. We've been on the other side. Every driver's been on the other side of the fence. Not many drivers have been in racing. There is a few, of course there is, but usually they have been a fan at some point. But you've got to think, we're on one package. We're still fans of other packages. I go and support other racing. So then I'm a fan. I mean, when I was racing VW, I'll go to the British touring car rounds.
Yep, I've seen you many times.
Yeah, I'm a fan when I turn up there. I'm not a driver when I walk through them gates. I don't walk around as a driver because I'm not a driver. I wasn't a driver, obviously, in that paddock. So I was a fan, and I forget that I'm a driver, and I'm like, oh my god, look at that! It's the fun side of it, and as a driver to see and engage with the fans and the public is a massive help for everyone.
Excellent, nice. Don't want to bring it down a bit, but I feel I do have to, and this is part of the reasons for doing these interviews, these chats, is the fans can really help the drivers, as you say, but then there's social media. A lot of it's good. There's also a bit that's not good, and personal attacks. And like, do they get you? Or how do you respond to those? Like when you see it.
I mean, it was only recently. This week, I've seen a lot of stuff regarding women in motorsport, from the Thruxton interviews and stuff. And I'm not just talking about that. I've seen a lot of stuff, a hell of a lot of stuff. You'll never really see drivers commenting on it. Even if it's aimed at them. But it's hard. It is really hard. You want to comment, you want to say something, but you can't. Ultimately, every driver is an ambassador for the team they race for the sponsors that they have. When you're reading bad press about yourself, or for me, other drivers as well, because we are all the same. All the racing drivers, we are all the same. We go there because we love the sport and we want to do well. So to see other drivers being put down is very frustrating. One being massively, and I am gonna say a name because everyone's probably seen it. Nicholas Hamilton. That guy does deserve to be on the touring car grid. He worked really hard. Doesn't matter if you're triple, quadruple champion in any other sport, or any other championship, should I say, in motorsport. If you go out there and you work really hard to get yourself on a grid, then you deserve to be there.
Exactly.
End of story. And it is quite upsetting because, and obviously from me being a fan before, I work really hard at it. I work 6, 7 days a week. I'm very, very good friends with my sponsors now. They've turned into real good friends. But
Yeah.
before that, it was a job, because ultimately you're being ambassador for them. So and fans that are saying this stuff, they can get on a grid, but overall you have to show that you are good behind a wheel, because otherwise you're never going to get a sponsor.
Of course.
So Nicholas Hamilton can drive. I'm going to say it, he's not a championship contender for the British touring cars. He's probably not a podium finisher
I
in
think
the touring
I
cars.
think he'd probably be the first to say that as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but ultimately he deserves a seat in the touring cars. He worked really hard. We was aiming to be there.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the deal done. That wasn't because I wasn't working hard enough. I just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the budget, and we had to say that it's not going to happen this year. So everyone on that grid, and in any championship, because it's not just touring cars, it's Clio Cup, it's VW Cup, it's Ginetta Juniors. There's no cheap champion. There's no form of motorsport out there that's cheap. Everyone works hard to get in a car. You go down to the really, really low club level fun. They pay for it probably out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
But they have to go to work 7 days a week to be able to afford to go and do that on the odd weekend.
Yeah. And nobody deserves any unfair criticism, or he's only there because of this, or he's only there because of that, or he doesn't deserve it.
I mean, yes, his brother is Lewis Hamilton, but I know that Lewis, yes, obviously he has the Hamilton name, but Lewis didn't go and pay for his drive.
No.
He didn't pay for him to be on that package, and as well, Lewis didn't pay his way to get to Formula One. You can do it. You can pay your way, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be up the front. Just because you pay your way doesn't mean that you're going to be up the front. The people up the front have got the talent and have got the backing, or they've got personal money, or whatever they might be, but no one deserves to be attacked. And I'm only using Nicholas Hamilton. There's millions of drivers in the same position.
Yeah.
I'm only using Nicholas Hamilton because I've read so much in the part since the announcement from the touring car grid.
Yeah.
And it's happened until this day. And that's the only reason why I brought it up. And there's probably a lot of other drivers out there that are in exactly the same position.
Oh, yeah,
if you're
definitely
racing a car, and even if they're not racing a car, I mean, there's people that I know that haven't been able to get funding that are previous champions.
Yeah.
And they're sitting on the sideline watching it. Again, they deserve to be on the grid, but they can't get there. So there's two different sides to the story. I get why people say these things, but it's not fair to do it.
I just wish that people would actually think before making such comments.
Exactly.
It does affect
everyone
people.
Has a different opinion. Everyone has a different opinion on who drives in what championship. You could talk to a million people in one day, and you'll probably never get the same answer of who they think that should be on what grid. I think people just need to understand that no matter what situation a driver is in, financially, talent-wise, everyone's in the same position. And I think that it shouldn't be fair to say unkind things to any driver.
And I think you're spot on with that, mate. I really do. Okay, then just to sum it all up then, what you were saying there, there's always good in every bad situation and everything.
Yep.
If anybody is going through a difficult time, any driver or anything like that, what could you give any general advice, any guidance, or
I mean,
anything that?
again, everyone's different, and everyone
Yeah,
handles things in very different ways. It's hard to say what works for some people that doesn't work for others. I personally always try and think of the good. And I'm not just talking in motorsport, in everyday life. There's always got to be some good, whether it means a drastic change in lifestyle, or whatever's happening in life, motorsport, personal, whatever it may be. If something needs to be changed because things are that bad, there's only got to be, the only way is up at some point.
yeah,
Things, yes, it can get really, really bad, but if it gets to that low, the way I look at it is there's got to be an up at some point. Even if it's just one step up, it's better than where you was.
yeah,
So just, yeah, like I said, everyone's different. Everyone looks at things in a different way, but as a driver, personally, I always try and look on the positive side of things, and I say that now because, of course, I'm in a good place. But yeah, when I'm in a low place, I may say something different. Ultimately,
always
it's,
look for the good.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Lovely. Well, I want to thank you for this, Jamie. I know it's not an easy subject to talk about,
It's
that
not.
lot, but as I say, hopefully it will help. It may help some people. Make fans think twice before
And
posting.
if we can help one person, if we can do anything, then it's a positive, isn't it? And that's, again, going back to our whole subject, is if you can get one positive out of a negative, then overall it's a positive, and that's the way it should
Exactly.
be.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie.
You're more than welcome.
We shall see you at a racetrack very soon.
I'll see you there.
All right. You take care, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate.
Bye then.
Bye-bye.